Hello everyone. Today we'll be discussing two topics. One is cell structure and function, another cell cycle and cell division. Both these are very important topics. Based on the observations of last few NEET exams, you can expect about 4 questions from the first chapter, that is structure and function, and about 3 questions from the division. So on an average or approximately it has 7 questions weightage. So both are important topics. We'll begin with the first question. It is, unicellular microscopic organisms were first studied by. Which is a correct answer? Remember, it was Leeuwenhoek. He was the first one to see live cells using the microscope. He had seen bacteria and also protozoans. So live cells first observed by Leeuwenhoek. But Robert Hooke also had seen the cells, but they were dead cells. They were the cork cells, dead cells. Therefore, live cells or unicellular microbes first seen by Anton von Leeuwenhoek. See, here is the name Priestley. What is this fellow known for? He had discovered oxygen. Here, Pasteur name is there. So, Pasteur known for pasteurization, plus he had coined the term virus. Second question we'll see. The figures of cork cells as seen by Robert Hooke. See here, cork cells seen by Robert Hooke for the first time were published in the book. So which was that book? It was Micrographia, where he had described about his observation. For him, the cork cells first appear like empty chambers. So he coined the term cellula. Cellula means the compartment or the chamber from which the term cell is derived. So apart from Micrographia, you can see other names here. Origin of Species. This was written by Charles Darwin. Species Plantarum. It was a book by Carolus Linnaeus. And Genera Plantarum, it was the book by Bentham and Hooker. Bentham and Hooker had explained the natural system of classification. So answer for this question, it's fourth one. Okay, now the third question, it's matched the following kind of question. See here, first name, Leeuwenhoek. Already we have discussed about the first one, to see live cells. So which option we can select? First saw and described the living cell. Robert Brown, a very important name. He had discovered nucleus. Schleiden and Schwann, very important to remember that they together formulated cell theory. Schleiden was a German scientist. He had seen different kinds of plant cells and he said these cells together form the tissues. So he had observed that all the plants composed of different types of cells forming tissues. Now Schwann, he was a British scientist. This fellow studied animal cells. So after the observation, he found that animal cells have an outer boundary, that is plasma membrane, and he also added that plant cells have a unique feature that they have outer to the membrane cell wall. So Schwann observed presence of cell wall which is unique to the plant cells. Therefore, the answer first one. Okay, next question. Omnicellular acellular. What's the meaning of this? That new cells are formed from pre-existing cells. It was a statement given by Rudolf Virchow. Already I had told you it was Schleiden and Schwann who proposed cell theory. in that cell theory, they did not explain about formation of new cells. So it was then modified by this fellow, Rudolf Virchow. So he added this statement to explain the origin of cells. So answer its second one. Question number 5. Mesosomes are the infoldings of cell membrane. Remember, mesosomes are the infoldings of plasma membrane seen in case of bacteria, which there are some statements given with respect to, we'll read, are present both in prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. No, they are present only in bacterial cells. Okay, so this is a wrong statement. These help in cell wall formation. It is correct. The mesosomes take part in cell division, involved in the phenomena like new wall formation, DNA replication, DNA distribution. Along with that, respiration they help in, and also for secretion they help. So this is a correct statement with respect to mesosomes. Next, they increase the surface area of plasma membrane. Again, a correct statement. So here, which statement is wrong? The first one. Hence the option, it's second one. Now, apart from mesosomes, you'll have to remember one more term, that's chromatophores. In case of bacteria, they have the membranous extensions called mesosomes. Now in cyanobacteria, remember, they have the membranous extensions called chromatophores, which will have the pigments which help in trapping of sunlight. So for cyanobacteria, it's chromatophores, and for eubacteria, it's mesosomes. Now question number 6, dash R. Self-replicating extra chromosomal segments of double-stranded circular and naked DNA present in bacterial cells. We have learned in case of bacteria, in addition to main chromosome, they have some extra chromosomal segments of DNA. How are those termed as? They are called plasmids. So these plasmids, as we have learned, have very important application in biotechnology because they are used for transformation, or they are used as vectors to carry foreign genes into the bacterial cells. Yes, so answer it is first one. We'll consider the second option, it's nucleoid. What's this? Nucleoid. It is a region where it contains the main genetic material of bacteria. Yes, mesosomes we have already learned. Coming to bacteriophages, nothing but viruses which infect bacteria. Of course, the option is first one. Question number 7, we'll read the statements. First one, in prokaryotes, mitochondria are absent. Absolutely right, because they don't have any kind of membrane-bound organelles. So, the first statement, it is correct. Second one, in prokaryotes, mesosomes are present which help in respiration, which we have already gone through, that mesosomes carry enzymes for respiration. Therefore, this statement is also the correct one. Now, whether this is an explanation for the first statement, no. Therefore, we'll select the second option. That is, both the statements are correct, but it's not the correct explanation of the first one. So, option 2. Question number 8. Which one is a mismatch? First one, largest isolated cell. It is egg of ostrich. We have learned that egg of ostrich is considered with the single largest cell. So it's correct pair. Coming to the second, Golgi apparatus. Who discovered? You know, Golgi apparatus is named after the person who had discovered. It was Camillo Golgi. So it was not Altman. So it's a mismatch. So who discovered Golgi apparatus? It was Camillo Golgi. Coming to Altman, what is he known for? You have learned nucleic acids. Who discovered? It was Friedrich Michel. But then he had not given the term nucleic acid. He had given the term nuclein. That was then replaced as nucleic acid by this Altman. Okay, coming to third, mitochondria. The mitochondria were first observed by Kolliker and the name was given by Benda. So it's a correct pair. Lysosomes discovered by Christian D. Dew. So this is also correct. Therefore the mismatch is this second option. 9. Ribosomes are synthesized in. What do you know about ribosomes? They are the protein factories. Now, which are the ribosome factories? Remember, nucleoli, in a sense, nucleolus. It is the one which is involved in the synthesis of ribosome. This is associated with that region of chromosome called nucleolar organizer region, where it synthesizes rRNA, which are required for the synthesis of ribosomes. What are ribosomes composed of? rRNA and the proteins. So those rRNAs are synthesized by NOR, which is nothing but the nucleolus associated with the chromosome at the region nucleolar organizer region. So it is this which is involved in the synthesis of ribosome. Question number 10. We'll have to read the statements and select the correct option. First statement, the cisternae. What is cisternae? The sac-like structures which are arranged in a form of parallel stack. In case of Golgi, they are the sac-like structures arranged in the form of stack. Okay, so these cisternae of the Golgi complex have cis and trans phases. You have learned about cis phase, which is that cis is a forming phase through which that cisternae will be receiving the products from ER. So cis phase, it's the forming phase. The other side, it's called trans phase, through which the products after modification will come out. So trans phase is a maturing phase. We'll read the second statement. The cis phase is called forming phase and trans phase is called maturing phase. Therefore, this statement is also the correct one. Now, we'll select the option that is second one, as because this is not the explanation of the first one, though both are the correct statements. Question number 11. As they release hydrolases which digest old and damaged cells, the term suicide bags aptly used by the cell biologist for. Can you give the answer? Yes, are the lysosomes. They are aptly known as suicidal bags. That's because they have such enzymes with which they can digest the damaged cells. So, it is second option. Coming to the third option, glyoxysomes. What are these? These come under microbodies. What are microbodies? Microbodies are the minute single membrane bound structures which will be seen in eukaryotic cells. Now, in the microbodies, there are different kinds. One among it is glyoxysomes. These glyoxysomes are involved in the breakdown of fats to form the sugars. Where do you find the glyoxysomes? They are found in some oily seeds and also in fungi. Next, peroxisomes. These also come under microbodies present in plant cells, animal cells. What are these involved in? Peroxisomes in case of animal cells help in the breakdown of fats or oxidation of fats. In plant cells, they are involved in photorespiration. So remember, both these come under microbodies. But for this question, answer is lysosomes. Question number 12. It is match the following kind of question. We have two columns. We'll begin with the first one, mitochondria. Now, on the other side, you can see it is based on number of membranes are present in these organelles. Now, remember in the cell, there are three types of organelles based on the number of membranes they have. Which are those three types? One is double membrane bound, next single membrane bound, and one more, it is non-membrane bound. Double membrane bound with two membranes covered, one is, in the sense, example, that is mitochondria, chloroplast, even nucleus. These all have two membranes. So under double membrane bound, we have learned three examples: nucleus, then chloroplast, one more mitochondria. Coming to single membrane bound organelle with just one membrane covering, examples let me give you: lysosomes, endoplasmic reticulum, and Golgi bodies. Along with these, you can include vacuole also for single membrane bound. Coming to the third category, non-membrane bound organelles. Which are those non-membrane bound organelles? Ribosome, then centrioles. These both don't have any membrane. So it is an important point. So coming to the question, we have already gone through mitochondria. It's having two membranes, double membrane bound. Coming to lysosome, as you have learned, it has single membrane. Ribosomes without membrane, so non-membrane bound. The last one, nucleus, how many membranes? Are two membranes. So option, let us third one. Next, question number 13 will read, okay, it is diagram based question. Here is a diagram of plant cell given. We have to select the correct option for those letters. Okay, in a plant cell, which is the outermost cover, you know, it's a cell wall. Okay, now A, it is marked inner to the cell wall, so obviously it is plasma membrane. Okay, next, the B you can make out, it is the chloroplast. Okay, with those flattened structures called thylakoids arranged in the form of stack. So B is chloroplast. Coming to the C, it is mitochondrion, the powerhouse of the cell. Which is D? D is near to the endoplasmic reticulum. So which is that organelle? It's a Golgi complex. Therefore, we have selected the option first one. 14th question, it is match the following kind of question. Here we have structures of the cells. We'll begin with the A, dictyosomes. Have you come across with this term? Yes, these are the subunits of Golgi complex. In case of animal cells, we have a compact Golgi complex, whereas in plants, those are in diffused state, and hence those subunits of dispersed Golgi, how are they termed as? Dictyosome. So dictyosome in case of plant cells connected with a Golgi complex. Fine. Now this with which function you will match? You know, Golgi or the dictyosomes here involved in secretion is a very important function of Golgi complex or the dictyosomes. Mitochondria. Mitochondria connected with the respiration is involved in the breakdown of complex food molecules and release of energy. Third one, vacuoles. What are these vacuoles? Single membrane bound structures where the things like salts, pigments, or the excretory products stored in water. So it is having much water also. Now what's the function of vacuole? Therefore it is storage. Coming to grana. Where are these grana found? In the chloroplast. What are these grana? In the chloroplast, we have flat structures called thylakoids, which are arranged in the form of stack. And such one stack is called granum, and plural it's grana. What's the function of grana? Therefore, because it's a part of chloroplast, it's involved in photosynthesis. So option we have selected It is the first one. Question number 15, we have to read the statements. First one, cisternae of Golgi. Having cis and trans phase. As you know, there are two phases. Cis is forming phase and trans is maturing phase. So both are true statements, but as this is not the explanation, we have selected answer second one. Next question, 16th one, we have to select which is an incorrect pair. We'll consider first one, cell wall, the unique feature of plant cells. Of course, it is there in fungal cells and also bacterial cells. Now, what is the function of this cell wall? It provides shape, support, protects, acts as a barrier for undesired molecules. So, this is the correct pair, that cell wall, it provides structural support. Next, central vacuole. Where do you find the central large vacuole? In case of plant cells. What are these vacuoles involved in? They store the products like pigments, salts, etc. So this is also correct pair. Next, a myeloblast. What are these? A kind of leucoplast. What are leukoblasts? They are the colorless plastids, and among them one is a myeloblast. What is this meant for? Storage of starch. So it's also the correct pair. Coming to fourth one, plasmodesmata. What are plasmodesmata? They are the connections. What do they connect? The adjacent living plant cells. So in case of plant cells, they communicate with each other through the bridges called plasmodesmata. So for what do they help? For communication, not for protection. So it's an incorrect pair. Question number 17, non-membrane bound cell organelle. We have come across with this point already and we have learned the examples also. Which are the examples? One is ribosome, another one centriole. So both these are non-membrane bound. We'll look into the options. Ribosomes, yes, non-membrane bound organelles. Centrioles, also non-membrane bound structures. Remember, coming to third, nucleolus. Is this membrane bound? No. Where is this nucleolus found? Within the nucleus, a dark staining structure which is not covered with the membrane. Remember, nucleolus is not covered with a membrane, but nucleus is covered with two membranes. So this is also a non-membrane bound structure. So all these are non-membrane bound organelles. Question number 18. Select the correct option. Yes, for the given structure of Golgi. You have already come across with the point regarding Golgi that it has two phases. Here you can make out those two phases. One phase where it is receiving. So this is the cis phase. Another through which the packets or the products come out, it is a trans phase. And what are these structures? The flat sac-like structures are the cisternae. Right? Now round structures obviously are the vesicles. So which option you can select for? It is first option A. We have already learned it is flat sac-like structure arranged one above the other, nothing but cisternae. Next, B, the round one, it's a vesicle getting received there. So it is C, here it is, that is trans phase. Now getting received through which phase? It is D, therefore receiving forming phase, it is cis. Coming out, it is C, that is a trans phase. Yeah, option first one. Question number 19. We have to read the statements and select the correct option. Okay, first one. It's regarding mitochondria. First statement, these are the sides of aerobic respiration. It's a very, very important statement. Mitochondria are the sides of aerobic respiration. In the aerobic respiration, there are 4 steps. Which are there? First one, glycolysis. Second one, preparatory reactions to the Krebs cycle. Third, it's Krebs cycle. And fourth is ETS. Of these 4 steps, only the first one occurs in the cytoplasm. That is glycolysis in the cytoplasm. Rest 3, they occur within the mitochondria. So it's the major site, or it's a site of aerobic respiration. A correct statement. Matrix, which is that region which is inside, inner to the inner membrane. This space, it's matrix. It contains single circular double-stranded DNA. Yes, it is true. In mitochondria, it has its own DNA, right? Few RNA, yes, it's also correct. 70S ribosomes, yes. In case of mitochondria, there are ribosomes. Of which type? Remember, it is 70S, whereas outside, that is in the cytoplasm, it is 80S, but in the mitochondria or in the chloroplast, 70S ribosomes are present. So second statement, correct statement. Third one will read, mitochondria divide by fission. Yes, the new mitochondria are formed through fission. Next one, these are fully autonomous. Is this correct? No, mitochondria is not fully autonomous, but semi-autonomous. What is the difference? Fully autonomous means it's completely independent of the cell, but mitochondria is not completely independent. So the statement is wrong. I said it's semi-autonomous. Why and how? Because mitochondria is having its own DNA and also ribosomes can synthesize RNA, so can produce the proteins, but not all. Therefore, it can synthesize some proteins by itself, but not all the proteins. So, it is semi-autonomous, not completely autonomous. So, which option will select? It is third one, because 1, 2, 3 are the correct statements. This is the false one. Question number 20. Ribosomes of the cytoplasm, chloroplast and mitochondria respectively. So there are different types of ribosomes. How many? 2. One is 70S and 80S. Now in the cytoplasm of which type of ribosome it is? It is 80S ribosome. In case of eukaryotic cells in the cytoplasm, it is 80S type of ribosome. Whereas in chloroplast and mitochondria, it is 70S. So it's 80S in the cytoplasm, 70S in the chloroplast, 70S in the mitochondria. It's second option. Question number 21. We have to read the statements. First one, flat membranous sacs in the stroma of chloroplast. Can you give the term? The flat membranous sacs? Yes, thylakoids, which are arranged in the form of stack called the granum. So this is thylakoid. Infoldings in the mitochondria. You know, in the mitochondria, outer membrane is smooth, whereas inner membrane shows finger-like infoldings. Which is a term for such infoldings? They are the cristae. So, are cristae. Disc-shaped sacs, which we have already come across with, nothing but cisternae. In case of Golgi, those disc-shaped structures are called cisternae. So we have to select the correct option. Already we have answered it. Now of the option It comes as third option because which is cristae. Cristae holds good for second one. Yes. And cisternae, where it comes? Cisternae it is for this one, and thylakoid it is the first one. So option third. Question number 22. Dash are the granular structures first observed under electron microscope as dense particles. You remember this statement from the text? Yes. Which of those granular structures are the ribosomes? Who observed them through the electron microscope? It was George Palade. Remember, ribosomes observed by George Palade. Question number 23. It's based on diagram given. Which statements are true or correct for the given structure? Can you identify the structure? It's a section of cilia, or can be even for flagella. Okay, so these are the small structures which work like oars. It is applicable to cilia, small structures which work like oars. It is covered with a plasma membrane. You can make out this is the membrane, plasma membrane covering, and the core is called the axoneme. The term is important one, axoneme. The core termed as axoneme. So these all are the correct statements. Option, it's fourth one. Question number 24. Select the incorrect statements regarding plasma membrane. We'll read the statements. Ratio of proteins and lipids varies considerably. Yes, plasma membrane is composed of three types of components: proteins, lipids, and carbohydrates, and the amount is variable. So first statement, it's correct. 52% proteins, 40% lipids. In case of human RBC plasma membrane, it's also correct statement. Next, how are the proteins and lipids arranged? You have learned that model, fluid mosaic model, where it explains the arrangement of proteins, lipids, and also carbohydrates. So there, proteins, then lipids, and the proteins. That is the arrangement. We'll read out this statement. Arrangement of proteins and lipids is outer lipid, inner protein, then lipid. It's absolutely wrong one. Actually, proteins, lipids, because it's a lipid bilayer, then proteins. So this is an incorrect statement. Head of the lipid. How is a lipid structure? Which kind of lipid it is? It's a phosphoglyceride. Okay, we'll discuss the structure of the lipids present. Lipids are phospholipids having heads, backbone, and the tails. This is the phosphate heads. And this region, it's a glycerol backbone. And these two are the fatty acid tails. Right now? So this is the phosphate head. What is the nature of this head group? Hydrophilic. How about these fatty acid tails? Hydrophobic. So head of the lipid, it is hydrophilic, given correct. How about the tails? Hydrophobic. Head, hydrophilic. So which is the wrong statement here? It's third one. 25th question. Yes. So we'll read out the statements. Centromere present in the middle of chromosome and forms two equal arms. So these all statements are about position of centromere. You have learned based on the position of centromere, there are how many kinds of chromosomes? Are 4 types. Which are those 4? One is metacentric, submetacentric, acrocentric and telocentric. How about in the case of metacentric? Metacentric is the one where the centromere is located at the center of the chromosome. Therefore, when it forms the arms will be of equal size. So, metacentric at the center, equal arms, right. Next, chromosome having the terminal centromere. That is, which type of chromosome? It is telocentric. In the telocentric, centromere is located at the tip or terminal part. So, it will have one arm, the other one won't be there because it's at the tip. Centromere is at the tip. Right, next, centromere lies close to the end. Which is this type? Acrocentric. In the acrocentric, centromere is not exactly at the end but close to the end. So, how will be the size of the arms? One arm will be long, another is a short one. So, there is huge difference in their lengths. One extremely short, other one very long. One more which is the left out, it's submetacentric. How is the centromere located here? Slightly away from the center. So, how will be the length of the arms? One will be long, the other one will be short, but not with a huge difference between, right now. So, for this we have these diagrams which we can identify now. In the first figure you can make out this is the centromere, the narrow region where the two chromatids held together. The region is centromere. You can make out it's at the center. So, it's which type of chromosome? It's metacentric. Can you see the difference here? The centromere is slightly away. So, you can see the difference in the lengths but not much. So, this is submetacentric. Coming to this, it's the acrocentric. In the acrocentric, it's close to the tip but not at the tip. So, the lengths in the arms will be different in the sense one will be short extremely, the other one long enough, right? And this you can make out it's a telocentric. Now these chromosomes when get arranged at the equator during metaphase and they get separated during the anaphase, they assume different shapes, and those shapes also important for us. Which shape the metacentric chromosomes assume during anaphase? As these have equal sized arms, they assume V shapes. Look at its V shape. Whereas here one arm is long, the other one bit short, they assume L shape. Here one arm is much longer than the other. So, it's J, yes, and here it's I shape. Yes, so here is a centromere, right? No? So, these are the shapes. Meta assuming V, submeta assuming L, acro assuming J, and the last one telocentric assuming I shape. Now we'll answer the question. Yes, so for this we have to select the option. So first statement, at the center it's meta, next with a terminal, so obvious that is a telo. Next, close to the end, so it is acro. Lightly away, yes, it is which one? Submeta. So option, it's first one. Question number 26. We'll have to read the statements and select the correct option. We'll read the first one. Peroxisomes. they are involved in photorespiration in case of plant cells and help in lipid metabolism in animal cells. Is this statement correct one? Yes, because already I have told you regarding the peroxisomes, a kind of microbodies present in plant as well as animal cells. In plants for photorespiration and in animals lipid breakdown. So it's a correct statement. We'll consider second one. These are the garbage disposal systems. Is this correct? No, because they are not involved in any kind of waste disposal. They are actually meant for other functions. So it's not garbage disposal system. So it's a wrong statement. So option, it is third one. Question number 27. We'll have to read the statements regarding a cell organelle. Right. First one, it contains water, sap, excretory products, other unwanted materials. Have you come across with such an organelle? Already we have spoken about, na? It is vacuole, right? Okay, bound by single membrane called tonoplast. Now it's very clear, it is vacuole which is bound by a membrane called tonoplast. In plant cells, it can occupy up to 90% of the cellular volume. So in case of plant cells, 90% will be, the space will be occupied by the vacuole. So it's a statement which clearly is telling out the answer. Yes, we'll read out the next statement also. It contains cell sap, the contents called the cell sap. So one more is there. It maintains turgor pressure. Yes, because it stores the water also. Hence, it maintains the water concentration and results in building up the pressure. So it is which organelle? Therefore, reading all the statements, we can clearly say it is about vacuole. So organelle, it's vacuole. Option second one. Question number 28. Which of the following statements incorrect? We'll have to see. Mitochondria, unless specifically stained, are not easily visible. Have you come across with this statement? Yes, they need to be used with a specific stain. Can you tell me the name of that stain? It is Janus green. Okay, so it is a correct statement. Physiological activity of cells determines number of mitochondria per cell. Obviously, the cells which are metabolically more active will have more number of mitochondria. So a correct statement. Coming to the third, mitochondrion, powerhouse of the cells. Yes, but it extends, that is, it has DNA, true, RNA, true, ribosomes also, enzymes also. So this part is true. So it can survive outside the cell. Can it survive outside the cell independently? It's not possible. It's not completely autonomous. We have learnt it as it's semi-autonomous. So this is an incorrect statement. Coming to the fourth one, mitochondria divide by fission. Yes, it is also a correct statement which we have already learned. So option which we have selected, it's a third one. Question number 29, it is match the following kind of question. Okay, we have chloroplast, chromoplast and leucoplast. Can you tell me what are these types of plastids? So it's based on the color they have. Tell me, chloroplast is which colored one? Obvious, it is green colored. Next, chromo, it's having pigments like carotenoids, right? So we'll have yellow, orange or red color. So it's that kind of plastid. Leuco, it's a colorless plastid. So option, it is second one. Question number 30, let me read. Which of the following represents the feature of lysosomes? Lower pH. Did you learn this? Yes, in case of lysosome, they need acidic pH for the activity of their enzymes. So it's lower pH than the cytoplasm. It's a correct statement. Next, reduced hydrolase activity. No, it's having more hydrolytic enzymes in it, such as carbohydrases, nucleases, and also lipases. So it's not reduced. It's an incorrect statement. Next, is it having double membrane? No, it's a single membrane bound. So third statement false. Are all these a correct statements? No. It's which one? First statement only. It's correct here. Question number 31. Which of the following is a correct match? We'll read. Myeloplast, elioplast, eleuroplast. What are these? These all are the types of leucoplast. Depending on the products they store, they are of different kind. A myeloplast, what do they store? They store carbohydrates or starch. So it's a correct pair. The other kind, elioplast, what do these store? Fats and oils. Is it given correct? Yes. The third kind, eleuroplast, storing proteins. So given 3 are correct. So all are correct pairs. Question number 32. The core of cilium or flagellum. Have you come across with the term, that core? How is it called? Axoneme, right? Yes, the core of the cilium and flagellum were the microtubules, associated proteins. How is a core termed as? It's called axoneme, the core which will be surrounded with the plasma membrane. Here we have the term blepharoplast. You know what this is? It's nothing but basal body from which the cilia or flagella arise. Microfilament come under cytoskeletal structures. There are 3 types of cytoskeletal elements, no? Intermediate filaments, microfilaments, and microtubules. So come under which category? Cytoskeletal structures. What is this tubulin? Tubulin is a protein which makes up microtubules, right? And even in spindle fibers, they are composed of the same tubulin protein. Question number 33. How does a cell rid itself of defective or malfunctioning organelles? How are those defective or malfunctioning organelles disposed of in the cell? You know which organelle it helps for? It's lysosome, right? Okay, we'll read the options. Whether those are engulfed by plastids? Never. So it's wrong. The defective parts accumulate? Never. So they will have to be disposed or degraded soon. So second is wrong. Third will read exported. Every time those will never be exported. So what happens exactly there? The lysosomes assist. So lysosomes are involved in the breakdown of those damaged or malfunctioning organelles. And with those, they also form such molecules which can be made use in the cell. That's why they are the recycling centers, right now? So option, it's fourth one. Question number 34. With respect to the given figure, you have to select the correct option. You can identify it as a chromosome, right? How many centromeres it's showing? Tell me, what is a centromere? Centromere is a region where the 2 chromatids are held together. So how many centromeres will a chromosome be having? It will have just 1 centromere, otherwise known as primary constriction. Okay, so how many centromeres there? 1. Next, kinetocosh. Kinetocosh will be 2. What are kinetochores? C or disc-shaped structures. You can make out there the dark-colored ones to which spindle fibers get attached during division. So, how many kinetochores? 2. How many chromatids can make out there? 1 and another. So, chromatids 2. How many arms? 1, 2, 3, 4. So, we have learned the number of centromeres, it's 1, number of kinetochores, it's 2, and number of chromatids, it's 2, and number of arms also is asked there. See, it's 4. So, option it is second one. Question number 35. We'll have to identify A, B, C, D in the given figure. Yes, with respect to the combination given, we'll just look into A. Can you identify which is that? The one which is attached externally towards the external side. So, it's nothing but the sugar. To what it is attached? Protein. So, B you can make out it's a protein. Here also is a protein, that's the integral one. We'll consider C. Can you make out the C there? Are the lipids. How are they arranged? In the form of bilayer, right now? So, we'll have to find out the correct labeling suitable there. Yes. So, for A, we have selected it as a sugar, and B, it's protein. Yes. C, it's a lipid bilayer, and which is the D? It's the integral protein embedded in the lipid bilayer. So, option, it's first one. Can you identify the diagram? It's the diagram of fluid mosaic model, the three-dimensional structure. Question number 36. A common characteristic feature of plant tube cells and most of the mammalian erythrocytes. Can you guess? Yes, both these will not have nuclei at the maturity. They are enucleate ones. Remember the examples? One is tube cell in case of plants and erythrocytes in animals. So, which is the common feature of the two? Option, absence of nucleus. Question number 37. In chloroplast, where is the chlorophyll pigment present? Tell me whether it is on the outer membrane of chloroplast, inner membrane of chloroplast, or in the stroma, or in the thylakoids. Yes, it is in the thylakoid. What do you mean by thylakoid? The flat structures which are present in the region called stroma. Now, to know that, we'll consider structure of chloroplast. So, this is a chloroplast where you can see the flattened sacs arranged one above the other in the form of stack of coins. This stack is called granum. Many such grana will be there inside. Now, in the granum, one, it's the thylakoid, and this thylakoid has got membrane and the space called the lumen. Remember, it's in this membrane the pigments present, the chlorophyll pigments present in the chloroplast, not on the outer or in the inner membrane, or not even in this region called the stroma. It's there on thylakoid membrane. Question number 38. Select the one which is not true for ribosomes. We'll read the statements. Made of two subunits. Remember, in case of ribosome, there are two subunits, larger and smaller. Larger is dome-shaped structure, smaller is cap-like one. Both these remain actually free from each other. But during protein synthesis, the larger and the smaller come together attached to single mRNA. So, there are two subunits in ribosomes. What are these units composed of? Both the subunits composed of rRNA and proteins. When do they come together? During protein synthesis. For what do they get attached? To the mRNA. So first one, it's correct. Next, form polysome. What is the meaning? See, in case of bacteria and all, if the same protein to be synthesized, the polypeptide to be synthesized many a times, what happens is, as one ribosome is moving on the mRNA, going on synthesizing the polypeptide, another will attach and will continue. So as this moves, one more will come and begin the process. So in one mRNA, you will see many ribosomes attached and synthesizing the same polypeptide. So such a chain of ribosome termed as polysome. Ribosome forms polysome. So it's correct. It may attach the mRNA. Already have told you, the larger and smaller get attached to mRNA during protein synthesis. Done. Next, no role in protein synthesis, an absolutely wrong statement, because it is the ribosome which actively take part in the process of protein synthesis, or rather you can say it as a cellular factory for protein synthesis. So wrong statement, it's the fourth one. Question number 39. The lipid molecules present in the plasma membrane, we have already come across about these lipids. So are having polar heads and non-polar tails. The structure is like this, the polar head and the non-polar tail. So which option represents their correct arrangement? You know, these lipids are arranged in bilayer with their head groups directed outwards and tails facing each other. So this is the correct arrangement. Tell me, head groups directed outwards and tails facing each other. So of these, correct option is second one. Question number 40. It's again diagram based. We'll have to select which is correct for A, B, C. See, here is a diagram of a chromosome having an extra structure. Which is this one? See here, this is called the secondary constriction. This is a primary constriction. Another name, centromere. So primary constriction or centromere is a region where the two chromatids are held together. Now in some chromosomes, apart from this primary constriction, they will have another constriction called secondary constriction. So this region, it's secondary constriction, and beyond you can see there a knob-like structure. It's called a satellite. So we'll identify the labelings. First one, A, it is centromere or the primary constriction, primary constriction or centromere. Next, the C, it's a secondary constriction, and B, it's a knob, nothing but satellite. So correct labeling set, it is third one. See there, A is centromere and B is a satellite, C is a secondary constriction. Question number 41 will read, which of these statements true? The surface area available for cellular functions in a prokaryotic cell is less than in an eukaryotic cell. It's the correct one, because the prokaryotic cells compared to eukaryotic have much smaller size. So surface area available for the activities, metabolic activities in prokaryotes, it's less. Next, the total genome size of the prokaryotic cells is always less than that of eukaryotic cells. Is a correct statement? Yes, because in prokaryotes they have the genetic material much lesser, in a sense smaller, compared to the eukaryotics. So it's again a correct statement. Unlike eukaryotes, no respiratory organelles found in prokaryotes. It's again a correct statement. In case of eukaryotic cells, they have this special organelles called mitochondria helping in respiration, but no such special kind of organelles in case of prokaryotes. We'll read out the next part. Hence, they respire at a much lesser rate. Not necessary that prokaryotes will have much slower rate of respiration as they don't have cell organelle meant for. So this half is not correct. Therefore, we'll consider this statement as a wrong one. Next, eukaryotic cells show various membrane-bound organelles. Yes, it can be chloroplast, nucleus, while ribosomes are the only membrane-bound organelles in prokaryotes. Is this part correct? No, because ribosomes are the non-membrane-bound organelles. Though they are present in prokaryotes, they are not the membrane-bound ones, they are the non-membrane-bound organelles. So, it's also a wrong statement. So, conclusion, it is 1 and 2 only are the correct statements of first option. Question number 42. Which one of these is not a eukaryote? Okay, euglena. It comes under Protista. Therefore, it's a eukaryote. Only the Monera includes prokaryotes. Rest all kingdoms have eukaryotic ones. So, this is an eukaryote. Anabaena, which is this one? It's a cyanobacterium or blue-green alga coming under first kingdom, that is Monera. That means this is a prokaryote. Anabaena, cyanobacteria coming under Monera, an example for prokaryote. Spirogyra, a green alga, right? So it is coming under Plantae, therefore it is eukaryote. Agaricus, fungus, so again an eukaryote, therefore answer it's second one. Question number 43. Different cells have different sizes. Okay. Arrange the following cells in the ascending order of their size and select the correct option. We have mycoplasma, ostrich egg, human RBCs and bacteria. Which you consider as the smallest? You have learned it's mycoplasma, smallest living cell, having the size 0.3 micrometer. So it stands first. Next comes bacteria, having the size of 3 to 5 micrometer. So next one, which stands in the third place? It is human RBCs, having about 7 micrometer size. And we have learned it's ostrich egg, which is the single largest cell, so stands at the end. Correct order, therefore, it is this one. Question number 44 will read, following feature is common to prokaryotes and many eukaryotes. See that? Many eukaryotes and for prokaryotes. Which is common? First one, chromatin material. Can this be the answer? No, because it is there in all the prokaryotes and also the eukaryotes, not many. So, it will not be the answer. Next, cell wall. Yes, it is answer. Why? Because maximum of the prokaryotes, they have cell wall, right now. So, common to prokaryotes and many eukaryotes. Which example you can consider? Fungi or plant cells having cell walls. So, for prokaryotes and many eukaryotes, the common feature presence of cell wall. Nuclear membrane will not hold good because it's absent in prokaryotes, absolutely, so cannot be. Next, membrane bound organelles absent altogether in prokaryotes and present in all the eukaryotes, so conclusion, it's second option. Question number 45. The stain used normally for visualizing mitochondria. As I said earlier, mitochondria are not seen unless are specifically stained. So which stain they use for staining mitochondria? It is Janus green, the specific stain for mitochondria. Question number 46. Which of the following stains not used for staining chromosomes? We have basic fission here, safranin, methylene green and carmine. Normally, safranin they don't use for staining chromosomes. So answer it is second one. Question number 47. Which of the following options is true for a secretory cell? Which secretes more? Which feature holds good? Golgi apparatus absent. Is it correct? No. Golgi is exclusively involved in secretion. So, it cannot be the answer. Rough endoplasmic reticulum. Tell me, what is this? Endoplasmic reticulum attached with a ribosome, which is mainly involved in the synthesis of proteins, easily observed in such cells. Yes. So in case of cells with more secretion will have more rough endoplasmic reticulum and also Golgi. So correct option, it's second one. Next, smooth endoplasmic reticulum only present, it's wrong. Now tell me, what's the function of smooth endoplasmic reticulum? Lipid synthesis, not for proteins it is. So it is not suitable option here. Secretory granules performed, no, not in the nucleus. Therefore answer, it's second one. Question number 48. Who proposed the fluid mosaic model for plasma membrane? It was S.J. Singer and G.L. Nicholson. Important to remember, Singer and Nicholson proposed fluid mosaic model. Question number 49. Which of the following statements not true for cell membrane? Okay. It is present in both plant and animal cells. Remember, it's there in plant cells inner to cell wall, in animal cells as an outer boundary, and even in prokaryotes they have the plasma membrane. So it's correct statement. Lipids present as bilayer in it. We have learned that point. Yes, the arrangement also we have learned. So correct statement. Next, proteins may be peripheral or integral. In case of plasma membrane, the proteins are either embedded in the lipid bilayer, then are called intrinsic or integral proteins, or are found outside, which are called peripheral or extrinsic proteins. So third, it's a correct statement. Carbohydrates never found in. Remember, plasma membrane is having lipids, proteins and also carbohydrates. These carbohydrates will be seen attached to the external surface of the membrane, not to the inner but the external. But remember, carbohydrates are seen in the plasma membrane. So this is a wrong statement or option, it's fourth one. Question number 50. Plastids differ from mitochondria on the basis of which of the following features? So you'll have to say how plastids are different from mitochondria. Presence of two layers? No, because both are having two membranes. So this is not the difference there. Next, presence of ribosome. Both plastids as well as mitochondria having ribosomes, and which type? It's 70S type. So this is not the answer. Next, presence of thylakoids seen only in chloroplast or plastids, but no such sacs called thylakoids in case of mitochondria. So this is the difference. presence of DNA? No, not the difference, because both are having DNA of their own. So answer, it's third one. Question number 51. Which of the following is not a function of cytoskeleton in a cell? Let's see first what's cytoskeleton. Cytoskeleton is an elaborate network of filamentous proteinaceous structures which are present in the cytoplasm of eukaryotic cells. So, for what do these cytoskeletal structures help? They help in motility of the cell, provide support to the cell, and even maintain shape of the cell. So it's asked here, not the function of cytoskeleton. So first one, intracellular transport. Is this a common function of cytoskeleton? No, it includes three, right? One is the shape, motility, and support. So it is not. Therefore, we can select this as an answer. These are actually the functions of cytoskeleton. And also you can remember there are three types of cytoskeletal structures: intermediate filaments, microfilaments, and microtubules. To solve the next few questions, we have to follow this instruction. So where you are given with the codes A, B, C, D, and for what do they stand for? A means assertion and reason both are correct, and reason is a correct explanation. B means correct but not the correct explanation. Next. Third, it is statement itself is wrong, and fourth, both are wrong. We'll read question 52. Assertion. The middle lamella is a layer made of calcium pectate. First of all, we'll see where is this middle lamella present. In case of plant cells, the adjacent cells, you consider as this is one wall of one cell, another, this is a wall of another cell. Now in between they will have a cementing material, okay, so which holds these two cells together, and this region, it's called middle lamella. And what is the composition of that? It's calcium pectate. So it holds the two cells together. Middle lamella, the region composed of calcium pectate holding the two cells together. So it's a correct statement. And next, it holds different neighboring cells together. Correct, na? So both are correct, but this is not the explanation for. So we'll select option second one. Question number 53. Assertion. Mitochondria are called powerhouses of the cell. True. So assertion is correct. Reason. Mitochondria produce cellular energy in the form of ATP. Is the correct statement? Yes. Whether is the explanation for the previous? Yes. So because it synthesizes ATP or generates the power, it's called a powerhouse. So option, it is first one. And also remember, ATP is termed as energy currency of the cell. Question number 54, assertion I'll read. Interphase occupies 75 to 95% of the total generation time. So it's a question from the cell cycle and cell division topic. So interphase. In the cell cycle, there are two phases, no? Interphase and M phase. Inter means preparatory phase between the two divisions. So this interphase occupies maximum of the time. It can be up to 95% of the total time. How is the total time taken termed as? Generation time. So 95% of the generation time, it's used for preparation or interphase. So correct statement. Reason, interphase or I phase is so long and it is a non-dividing phase. Is this a correct statement? Yes, interphase is long, it takes so long to prepare for. So maximum time it occupies. So answer it's first one because it's the explanation for the first one. Question number 55. Assertion crossing over leads to the recombination of genetic material in two chromosomes. For this, we'll have to understand what is crossing over. In case of meiosis, during prophase 1 of meiosis 1, there's a substage called zygote where the two homologous chromosomes come together, and then in the next, that's packaging, they exchange their segments, which results in recombination. So that exchange of segments between the non-sister chromatids of the homologous chromosomes called crossing over. So because of that exchange of segments or genetic material, it results in recombination. It is a true statement. Crossing over is exchange of genetic material, as I said, between the two homologous chromosomes. The two homologous come to lie close to each other and exchange their segments during crossing over. So it's a true statement. It is also a true statement, but it's not the explanation for the first one. So we'll take second option here. 56th question. Which of the following is not true for eukaryotic cell? Cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. Whether it's true for eukaryotic cells, no. Peptidoglycan is present in prokaryotic cells, not in eukaryotes. So it's a wrong statement or incorrect one. Therefore, it's the answer. Next, 80th type of ribosome in eukaryotes in the cytoplasm, absolutely right. 80th in the cytoplasm, 70th in the chloroplast and mitochondria. So it's correct. Mitochondria with circular DNA, both, even chloroplast as well as mitochondria have their own DNA. That is circular one, correct. Membrane bound organelles present in eukaryotic cells also is correct. So it's first statement which is answer. What is a tonoplast? Tonoplast term we have already come across with that. It's a membrane which surrounds the space in case of plant cells, or it's a covering of vacuole. So it's a membrane boundary of the vacuole in plant cells. The term is tonoplast. Question number 58. Given below is a schematic breakup of the phases or stages of cell cycle. See here another question from cell cycle and division. Which is the correct indication you have to choose? We'll consider the diagram here. We'll consider the diagram of cell cycle. See here, this part, it is G1, this is S, and so much, it is G2, G1, S, G2. Together come under I phase. So G1, S, G2 form I phase. Next, this portion is there, no? This is the M phase. There are two phases in the cell cycle, I and M. In the M phase, again there are two stages, A and C, it's represented here. That is, in the M, first one, it's karyokinesis, and this is karyokinesis, and here it is cytokinesis. And in the karyokinesis again 1, 2, 3, 4 substages, which in all prophase, metaphase, anaphase and telophase. So we'll have to now identify the labelings. Where is A? So A under M phase it's coming, and this part representing what? Karyokinesis. Done. Now B. This is prophase, this is metaphase, and this is anaphase. So B is anaphase. C. See, after the completion of karyokinesis, the next is cytokinesis. So, C representing cytokinesis. D, see, I have already told you it's G1, yes, and G2. So, D, it's yes. So, we'll read the statements and select the correct one now. Now, we'll read the options. A representing karyokinesis, yes. Which is a division of cytoplasm? No. Karyokinesis is a division of nucleus. So, though this part is correct, this is wrong. So, we'll not select this option. B is a telophase. See there, 1, 2, 3. Third one is anaphase, not telophase. So, this is wrong. Next, C is a best phase to count the total number of chromosomes. A is karyokinesis given there, right? And C, where is C? Cytokinesis. So, during cytokinesis, can you count the number of total chromosomes? Not possible. So, this is also wrong one. Next, fourth, D. D is there, G1, yes, G2. So, D is yes phase. What happens during S phase? There is synthesis of new DNA or replication of DNA. So, in D stage, replication of DNA takes place. Yes, this is the correct one for the diagram. So, option fourth. Question number 59. Meiosis in diploid organisms results in, you know, there are two types of divisions, mitosis, meiosis. Mitosis is equational division, maintains the same chromosome number. Meiosis is a reductional division which reduces the chromosome number to half. So, meiosis in diploid organisms results in reduction in the chromosomes. Along with that, we'll add or read the options. First one, production of gametes. Remember, meiosis occurs during the formation of gametes. So, true it is. Reduces the number, we have already discussed. True it is. Introduces variation. You have come across with crossing over or exchange of genetic material. Therefore, because of that, it results in variation. So, all the three hold good for meiosis. So, option fourth one. Question number 60 will consider, at which stage of meiosis does the genetic constitution of gametes finally or actually is decided? You know, during the formation of gametes, there will be meiosis, and in the meiosis, it's meiosis 1 and 2. In the meiosis 1, there is karyokinesis and cytokinesis, and in the karyokinesis, there are 4 phases: prophase, metaphase, then anaphase and telophase. Now, this anaphase of meiosis 1, if you consider, is the one during which the homologous chromosomes get separated, thereby it reduces the chromosome number to half. That means the actual halving of the chromosomes number occurs during the first anaphase, not in the second anaphase. In the first anaphase, chromosomes get separated. In the second one, the chromatids get separated. So, when chromosomes get separated, the number will be halved, not when chromatids get separated. So, when exactly the genetic constitution decided? It is in the first anaphase itself.